These documents are classified under Murkoff Corporation. Any attempt to distribute classified internal documents will be dealt with by lethal force or lethal injection. You have been warned. Lemonade. Murkoff Corporation. Personal surveillance. Copy. Private journal entry of Dr. Hendrik Juliet Easterman.
We'll make lemonade, by God, if life's given you lemons. Lathe-proof programming is possible. It will be as the first rough explosions and industrial disasters inspired the creation of the combustion engine. We can use the trial environments, the prime assets, and their XPOP. They will be the anvil against which we hammer our true subjects. Two principles must change. Give me meaningless test subjects, neither damaged and broken mental patients, nor charismatic killers. Give me the vanquishable, the unloved, the unformed. I need subjects who are the opposite of special. I must be absent, powerful, benevolent, and mysterious by my absence. I cannot mix with the test subjects. I will find men and women without purpose, and I will guide them, as God does, from a mysterious remove.
The Pivot, Part 1. Murkoff Corporation. Copy. Transcription from tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos, Moses Scarfiotti, and Hendrik Juliet Easterman. Recorded/filed. Signala Facility. Edited for clarity. Minutes 12 to 14.
Clearly.
And what is they supposed to mean?
You're not a lemonade man. Gooseberry, Whitehorn, they had already developed a cult of personality either through wealth or media. And Coyle? Sergeant Coyle, too. His occupation alone gave him authority over others, a monopoly of power and violence. The prime assets had too much charisma. I need blank canvases.
Everyone is a blank canvas.
Give me people at the opposite end of the culture, lost and helpless. People we can break down to nothing.
That's what we had in the experimental population, the Mount Massive patients.
No. The XPOP were full of damage, trauma. We couldn't empty them out, only shovel in more damage and trauma.
And your, dispossessed would not be similarly damaged?
The Pivot, Part 2. Murkoff Corporation. Copy. Transcription from the tape of conference between A. Bradley Avellanos, Moses Scarfiotti, and Hendrik Juliet Easterman. Recorded/filled. Signala Facility. Edited for clarity. Minutes 15 to 17.
And your dispossessed would not be similarly damaged?
I don't believe so. They'll be losers, bums, but bums inside the greatest country on earth, with Christian morals, cared for by a generous welfare state. They'll be adult-aged children, narcotized, lacking ambition, trained in complicity.
You'll make it sound easy.
I don't believe it will be easy, not even a little bit, but it will be less expensive.
You have my interest.
If you let them shut this down, you're just throwing away Murkoff's money. But if we pivot to the next phase of the experiment, we're just keeping things rolling. There's almost no new expense outside of gathering reagents.
Reagents? There will be more chemical components to this phase?
No reagents. Our new experimental subjects, the center of Lathe 2, will be reagents. When they're finished, when they're ready to be released into the world, they'll be agents we can release into the culture that can cause change without being consumed.
This was your promise for Project Lathe from the start? We're millions of dollars into failure.
And if we stop now, that's money wasted. If we keep going, we could make history. Not as an idiom, I mean literally. We could make history.
A vertical slice of the human brain. Murkoff Corporation. Copy. Internal Signala correspondence of Dr. Hendrik Juliet Easterman.
Mr. Bernichik, I hope the meprobamate remains efficacious. I find the effect on my wife near miraculous. And I trust that it's helping you keep the steady head and hand I've always admired in your character, despite the recent setbacks. Especially as you'll soon be making a recommendation to the board about whether or not Signala will continue to receive funding. Bradley Avellanos should have already reached out to you, with the good news that we have found a way to salvage current resources, and push forward into even more exciting research. I wanted to follow up with some scientific specifics. Project Lathe created psychotics, which is at least partial success. We are working to create agents willing to do anything, and murder is of course a prime boundary of taboo. but our success here lacked necessary subtlety and control. Project Lathe was based in classical operant conditioning. Focusing on subconscious triggers, it was crude and it was effective. However, it revealed an unexpected and extremely promising side effect. Our recent setbacks provided us with an enormous number of Lathe subjects for autopsy, and those revealed strange like tumor growths in the parietal lobes. This, taken into light of recent discoveries from Dr. Penfield and Jasper, days will be dedicated to a very limited proof of concept, after which I will share my theory. I just want you to know that great things are coming. Expect more from me.
Hendrik Juliet Easterman. The Unborn Homunculus. Murkoff Corporation. Personal surveillance. Copy. Private journal entry of Dr. Hendrik Juliet Easterman.
Maybe our autopsies aren't detailed enough. I've bombarded subjects with pharmaceuticals and therapy. I've cut open and methodically searched dozens of brains. There's absolutely zero correlation between stimulus and lesion growth. The one consistency, even close to interesting, are shared visions of this Skinner man. Some Jungian nightmare man zeitgeisting his way through the test subjects. But that is not science. There will be no Lathe 2. They will shut us down. This is a disaster.
Homunculus. Title: A Devil on One Shoulder. Murkoff Corporation. Copy. Internal Signala correspondence of Dr. Hendrik Juliet Easterman. Carbon copy. Jameson Lawler, Langley.
Mr. Bernichik, great news. My proof of concept is a phenomenal success. It works even better than I could have hoped. You and the boys at Langley are going to be very, very happy. The parietal lesions formed just as expected, allowing me to adjust with surprisingly precision the so-called cortical homunculus. Once properly conditioned, Murkoff, or the client, will be able to set predetermined behaviors into the subject's very brain. Belief will follow, and by subtle adjustment, we can make agents capable of nearly anything. Think of it as having a devil on one shoulder. In the properly conditioned subject's experience, it will be like a dark conscience, an experience unlike temptation or addiction. But once acted upon, the motivation of the temptation will follow. Even a committed cynic like Scarfiotti must understand the power of such a tool. Clearly, you will recommend that Murkoff continues funding of Project Lathe. This will be our century.
Fondly, Hendrik Juliet Easterman. Lathe 2 Begins. Murkoff Corporation. Inter-organizational letters only. Copy. The board and our agency partners have officially authorized operations of Project Lathe 2. Please note that limbic aggression therapy will heretofore be replaced in documentation with latent agency therapy. Expenditures for this second phase of Project Lathe should be significantly less than Phase 1, as it reuses already built assets and experimental population. Oversight from Los Alamos and cooperation influx from Mount Massive will be minimal, pending results. Agency funding will require also minimal sharing of results with MK Ultra, MK Delta, and MK Naomi. Skinner Man Research, Murkoff Corporation. Personal surveillance. Copy. Private journal entry of Dr. Hendrik Juliet Easterman.
Lathe 2 is barreling forward at an inspiring pace. The influx of funding was so unexpected that I was momentarily afraid it was the result of some sort of accounting error. Bernichik is insisting on my sharing test results with the paperclip team at Los Alamos, especially with regarding to this Skinner man. It's clearly just a nightmare, some subconscious projection of the guards or the nurses who attend to the subject's ESOP maintenance and invasive therapy during induced twilight. But this Wernicke character thinks everything is solvable in dreams. To a hammer, the world is made of nails. To a Nazi, the world is made of nightmares. One of the sleep room observers had the gall to suggest this Skinner man is a reflection of me, simply because he overheard reagents calling it Dr. Skinner. Ridiculous. I am like a kind father to my patients, and they love me as much as I respect them. The correlation of a heart attack and a stroke with the Skinner man's appearance is only that.